This may look like a weird video game controller, but it's not. It's my editing productivity maximizer. It is a creative controller. It could also be categorized as a controller pad, a programmable controller. You can program hotkeys to it and speed up any type of creative work. Video editing, illustration, drawing, Photoshop, UX, UI prototyping. It'll work on a lot of softwares, if not all softwares, because you could just program it. It's a must-have if you are in the creative field, because you can work way faster and you can just focus on creativity instead of looking at your hands and looking at keys. It looks weird, but there's a good reason for it. I got this about 6 months ago, and within a day I already knew that this was a game changer for video editing, and it speeds things up so quickly. I've been looking for a creative controller for a while. I had one before for Figma specifically, which is a prototyping UX UI software. But I could also program it with other apps via the Via app. And I didn't really like it. It had very satisfying clicking buttons and little LED lights and everything like that, but not the most functional. I also had to plug it in all the time in order to use it. It was not wireless. One of the reasons I didn't like it is because I had to keep looking at the button and none of the buttons were distinguishable, whereas these ones, it looks weird, but you can tactilely feel it, and every button visually also looks different. They did include different keycaps with icons on them, but then those icons didn't always translate to every single app. Whereas this one, if you notice, every single button looks different and feels different. So there's two different ways to distinguish them, but most of the time you don't even need to look at it because you can feel it with the texture and your hand sits on it in a specific way, much like a computer mouse. I was looking at a flashier LCD screen where, okay, great, I would solve the problem of not being able to identify the buttons per app by having an LCD screen, either on the key itself or next to the key. But that still introduced another problem where it wasn't super ergonomic. I did see this across my research and I almost didn't get it or even consider it because I was just like, this is so ugly, I don't want this. But I have changed my mind drastically after a day of using this, 2-3 hours to quickly adapt to this. I can barely edit without this. It's just so easy also to edit with this. Some of you may be saying, well, why not use the speed editor if you have DaVinci Resolve? Well, I do have the speed editor, and I was really trying to debate between these two, which one I would go for. And I would say hands down, this one, not even any contest. I barely use this. And if I use it, it's just because I paid for it and I'm telling myself I should use it. I also paid for this, both of these. And this is not worth it, but I still keep it. I use it for multicam once in a blue moon. It turns out that 95% of you are not subscribers. If you want reviews on really cool gear like bags and cycling and coffee and other everyday essentials that can make your life better, click the subscribe button, stick around because you may discover 1 or 2 new products that are really cool. It really does help, gives me a little pat in the back. It's nice. There are a few models and few prices. This is one of their most expensive items, the Tourbox Elite. They released another one that is also compatible with an iPad for you creatives on the go. Go for this one because it's just so much more worth it, because I have a feeling you're going to want to upgrade. They have other versions that have the same button configuration, don't have the wireless. If you have a workstation that you never move, go for the plugged in version if you can save a little bit of money, but I would really suggest getting this button layout where you have a lot, because they have a light version that has much less buttons. It's just better to have more buttons to program than less buttons, because if you don't use every button, well, it's not the end of the world. But if you want more buttons, well, I have a feeling you're gonna wanna upgrade, so you might as well just get the better, more expensive one right away. The website has a really great product comparison if you want to see the differences between all the models. The more expensive you go, the more options you have, the more customization you have, haptic feedback, being able to connect to multiple devices, and having battery wireless Bluetooth, for example. I also have a discount in the description for you, so that can help save a bit of money. It is not cheap, for sure, but it's worth it for productivity, for creativity, for focus. They have different finishes. It's like a kind of a soft plastic. Black will show the dirt a little bit. Honestly, there isn't much, but because the camera is zoomed in, it's like there are. But it doesn't affect functionality, and I don't even feel it. Tourbox Elite version I have has UV antibacterial and fingerprint resistant coatings. Rubber feet so it doesn't move. And it's very bottom heavy. The buttons stick out very little. They're not the most satisfying click. It's not like Speed Editor where the keys have nice travel and nice clicky sound to them. This is not gonna win any awards from those keyboard fanatics. It's not the purpose of it. It's actually very shallow, simple kind of computer mouse feeling, but it works well. They also have haptic feedback that you can choose to turn on, turn off these dials and the scroll wheel. It feels great to have that, to hear it and to feel it. It has this button on the back so you can turn it on and off, which I always do because I pack it with me every day on the go when I'm using it because I'm constantly working remote. There's a program that comes with it. You can program all of your hotkeys in there. You can rename the keys as well. They do have presets for a lot of apps. They also have presets you can download, and I will include my own DaVinci Resolve one in the description. Let's say I have DaVinci Resolve and I have Photoshop and I have Illustrator and I'm just switching between one app to the other. It will auto switch, it's seamless. So if you're unsure where to start, a good idea is to use one of the available presets that comes on the app and start there and then tweak it. Or what I did is I spent a bit of time figuring out what shortcuts I use the most, and then I programmed them in and then I tweaked with time. What I love about it is, of course, I don't need to look down to use it. I can just look at my screen, which is maybe not that great because my eyes just don't move enough. I don't even necessarily need my keyboard. It's really just this and my mouse. The keyboard I will use just to rename markers. For the 4 models that they have, you can bundle the case on their website. You can also get a cable for the 2 more expensive models since they are wireless Bluetooth battery powered. But I find it rather bulky for what it is. I did use this for a while, a braided cable, and one side is an L shape and the other side is straight. Really slim to use and plug into your laptop with the L side and then straight into your Tourbox Elite at the top. In this case with the Tourbox Elite version, it is powered by 2 AA batteries, but if I run out of juice, which has happened actually one time when I didn't have any AA's on me, I did have my cable and I was able to continue using it. So if you're in a bind, you can use this. But what's really great is that this is actually a data cable. So when I transfer videos off of my camera that I'm filming on to my laptop, I actually use this cable. So I just keep this with me at all times. And I don't use this case because I do find it rather bulky. See, this is the case, and this is the controller. What I do use instead is a product that I reviewed that is now become my must-have as well for when I'm working. Alpaca Gear Vertex Pouch Organizer. It is my must-have, and yes, it's gonna be bigger than this, but I can fit way more things in here. It's way more functional. And what I do is I have my MacBook charger here, and then I have my Tourbox Elite in here, put my cable in one of the little mesh pockets, and I have it at all times with me. So everything I need is in this pouch. I'll link this and the discount code and everything, the review in the description. This is a must-have for productivity for me as well. It is a AA battery, which is housed in the back. I use rechargeable batteries. I've heard this to be a negative in some reviews, which I was dumbfounded by because AA batteries are so easy to get. Like, let's say you're at a friend's house or you need to go to the convenience store. Like, the chances are they're going to have AA batteries. Like, everybody has AA batteries of all the battery types. I feel like it's the most popular one. I have a bunch of AA batteries that are charged at all times, ready to go. I have 2 extra AA batteries in here in my pouch in case I run out. These batteries also last a long time. Between charges, I easily go 2 to 3 months, and I use this every single day, multiple hours a day. Having the off switch is also fantastic because when I put it in my pouch, I know that it's not gonna accidentally turn on and knock around and do, I don't know, maybe something weird. But I also get to save on battery life. I find that a lot of products nowadays have integrated batteries, and I'm starting to think that that's a negative. Yeah, it might make the product more slim and more waterproof. This doesn't need to be waterproof. The item that's gonna degrade first and foremost is likely going to be the battery. In this case, if my rechargeable batteries just degrade with time, well, I can swap them out with new batteries. The device is just gonna last longer because the battery is separate from the device. which I prefer. Remember when cell phones used to be able to swap your own batteries out? Oh, that was a time. I wish we could bring that back. But for you to really get a sense of how this can speed up editing work or any other creative work, I will only be showing DaVinci Resolve. But to give you an idea, let me show you with the presets, and it'll also give you a tutorial on how to use my preset should you choose to use it with DaVinci Resolve. Let me show you. This is my coffee bar video that I am currently editing. So what I like to have is on the right screen here. I like to keep this here. You'll see as I press different things that it will give me the various options that I have. Mark in and out are things that I use all the time. And then on my left here, I have this mini quick note in case I forget. I usually tend to snap to left. I switch from my screen to just using my laptop, reset everything each time. That's a bummer. I'm hoping that that can be fixed at some point. Here you can select different items, what you would like to show or not. At the beginning I had everything by default, which displayed a much longer list. And then I cut down to just the things that I needed quick reminders of, but I don't really need these reminders anymore. I've pretty much memorized them, but I leave that there just, I don't know, just in case. You have different settings that you can adjust. You can adjust the width, the opacity. If you have it overlaid on top of your app, that would be pretty helpful, but that's why I tend to just have it stuck to the side and hidden so it doesn't block anything. Let's say I'll grab this video here. I will mark my in and out points that I would like to use. I want to stick it in here, well, because it's gonna go into video 1 and audio 1, and I insert it, it's just gonna cut and move everything aside like that. I can also clear my in and out points, which I have currently selected on my timeline, doing that, which would be the same thing as I and O shortcuts. In the cut page, I can also insert there. See, now I have the little smart, I don't know what this little arrow is called, I forget. It snaps to the closest endpoint that it can, because that's how the cut page works. Let's change the color just so it's clear. We're gonna change this clip color to teal. If I were to insert it into here, it would actually insert right after, because it's going to snap to the closest clip that it's on V1 in this case. This is not a tutorial on DaVinci Resolve. I'm just trying to explain how it would work differently on these two pages. In and out is something that I use all the time, and then clearing it. I have other shortcuts for transition, so instead of choosing any of these, well, I would just select the area I want to transition. In this case, yes, it has to trim clips, then it would transition. If I were to select a clip itself, it would add transitions at the end of the clip, beginning and end. This I have programmed for my undo. There's a bunch of buttons I haven't even preset yet. These I've programmed to undo and redo. So undo, where is that? Oh, there it is, undo, C1, undo. So program that to undo. It's pretty cool actually. If you go here and you're like unsure what you have set, well, you could press the button, it'll pop up. That's really cool. What I really like doing is moving along the timeline super freely with the Tourbox Elite. This is my zoom in and out. If I want to move left and right, I press this, and then I go left and right on my timeline, which I use all the time. If I want to move my playhead, it's like this. If I want to micro move my playhead by like one singular frame, it's this. See, it's so small you can't even see. Like this. This is a bigger, and then this is a bigger jump. This I get to move the timeline without moving my playhead. Then if I want to move next clip, forward clip, I can do it like this. When I make cuts, just to make it more dynamic and interesting, I'll do little quick zoom ins to different clips. Unfortunately, there was no easy way to program this. The speed editor from DaVinci Resolve, they managed to program some things in that I haven't been able to replicate, so I'm not sure how they did it, but it is their own, controller, so it makes sense. Because there's a smooth cut that I was not able to program, which I would like, so I have to always just go into the toolbox to type it in and find smooth cut and then drag it to the timeline, which is not the end of the world. Close up allowed it to zoom in. Yeah, it zoomed in with the top clip. but I don't even think you could adjust the zooming in. I had programmed different things to be able to go automatically, but it didn't work very consistently. So the easiest thing for me to do, I need to select one of these two. Since they're linked, it will affect both. And then I programmed this to just do number 1.08. And it actually does save time because now I don't have to go here and do this, and it's consistent, and I don't have to type it in. So it does actually save time. This is my play and pause. I can double press it for full screen. If I take this clip here, I could have done the insert, but if I take this clip, I can also copy paste attributes. If I were to move this, zoom in, let's do something like this. I can actually use this to copy, and then I can always go here, paste attribute, and then I would choose video attributes, and see, now my zoom in position is there. I'm gonna undo that. Delete, I program for this, so I delete here, but I can also ripple delete. So if I double click this button, ripple delete, undo. Something that I really like that they did not have on DaVinci, the speed editor, because it's mainly meant for the cut page's speed editor. And on the cut and the edit page, I use this all the time, where logically, since I programmed this to be delete, the double click here, I can cut to the playhead, start to playhead or end to playhead. You can see on the two little arrows I have on my screen. So if I press this in combination with an arrow, I can cut to start to playhead. Do you see that? Sometimes there'll be giant gaps where I will need to clean that up. So for example, here, let's say I'm cutting here. I see there's a huge gap and I want to get rid of this entire chunk here. Well, I would just press this, start to playhead. I can also do the opposite. So I can cut here, that's my blade. I can go here and then cut there. So that makes it very easy for me to do rough edits or fine tweaking as well. What I did like with the DaVinci Resolve though was for fine tuning, trim in, trim out with the dial. That was very handy, but I like to edit more like this. So what I'm likely to do is, let's say I cut here and I'm like, oh, actually, I kind of cut my sentence. I programmed up to be in trim mode. So I can go into trim mode and I can just extend this back. Let's say let's take this clip again. And I want to use this section. I marked, see, I have in and outs here, but I want to use maybe the end more. I would go back into trim mode and I go and just bring it to where I want. And now if you look here from the original clip, we're now at the end. Those are all really useful. If instead of zooming in and out all the time, like I want to see my entire timeline, I can press on the scroll wheel and now I can see the entire timeline. Click on the playhead, I want to zoom here, well I zoom and it'll go right here. So when I want to move around the timeline very easily, I'll zoom out, click here, zoom in, or I'll move it like this, move my playhead. I also would like to move clips around. So let's just make this orange so we can see it pop out. This clip, let's say like, oh, actually I want it to be here. I've also programmed it so I can press on these two buttons and move the clip. Just kind of ripple move it into place without affecting anything else on the timeline, which I like doing. Once in a while I'll use this, but not that much, where I will press on this and then it increases the track height, but it increases all of them. So, and that's not always the most handy because usually I have 1 or 2 tracks that are for video. The audio as well, I can do that. And then if I want to manually adjust, I can. Let's say I have a video that's filmed to do slow-mo. I can, and I want to do some speed ramps on here, not on the Fusion page where I know it's like better, but if I want to do really quick stuff, it's just easier to go here. It's not actually that obvious or easy to do it even already in the defaulted DaVinci Resolve. If you shortcut it, it's different. So basically this is acting as a shortcut. The controller, I will essentially, see it's really easy. I can just like put my hand here and I know exactly where to go. I can feel it out. All of these buttons are just shaped and felt differently with all of the little things that it makes it easy to just put your hand and figure out where to go. So retime control But you notice how retime curve, there's no shortcut. You can assign one, I think, but retime control, if I want to do some quick speed ramps, I'll go up, and then I can add a speed point here, add a speed point there. Maybe I want this center, whoops, add this center part to be faster. Okay, great. So now what does that look like? If I press down, it will open up my curve, and then I can click on here and I can speed ramp it, and I can play with this. And then now we have, when it goes faster. Well, I was pretty slow with this one, so I didn't go that much faster. The marker, this is the I put the marker on the clip. If I have the timeline, it'll click here. If I double click it, I can adjust the different marker colors. And I really like this one because Speed Editor, I've brought this up to DaVinci or Blackmagic multiple times, and they just ignore my messages like, oh, we don't have a problem with it, but there's a problem. It doesn't work. I confirmed with other people on Reddit. The marker button doesn't work properly on the cut page. So if I go here and I click the marker point and then I want to edit it, I can't. Like here, chapter 1, I can't do that. Very bizarre. It only works if I click marker. No, there we go, sorry. It only works if I do this, and then it triggers something on the cut page. It works. It's very bizarre. But that doesn't work. The double to select your color. It doesn't work. The double select color. See, it's just very iffy the way that that controller is programmed. But if I take this on the cut page, it will work without fail. It works without fail. Then here, it works without fail as well. And then if I want to, there is no long press to change the color, but I can change it here without fail. If I add a marker, I'm adding a note. So for my purposes, it's more valuable for it to open up that menu than it is to just have it not. I don't know how else to say that. There's tons of other ones I haven't even programmed yet. Option and command, I also use that so that I can click option here and just select this clip or double it. And command I use so I can select multiples. Let's make it orange so we can see. So I will cut, ripple cut. I don't do this that often, so I don't shortcut it. I'll paste insert, but I can paste insert on my, as you can see, I don't have to move my hands. It's super ergonomic and it just rests on here. And I have small hands. A caveat is with DaVinci Resolve, there are multiple tabs at the bottom: media pool, cut, edit, fusion, color, and then your rendering. All the presets that I have will work pretty much on the cut and edit page, but it will not work on fusion and on color page because those are completely different functionalities. If you would want those to work, what you would have to do is create another preset on Tourbox. You would then program the various shortcuts. And then when you are on the fusion page, you would need to open the Tourbox app and then click the preset to make that one active. It will not be automatically switching between the different tabs. It only automatically switches different presets based on different apps. So that was my tour of this. I don't have a lot of negative to say. Way more powerful than any of the other ones that I wouldn't even consider if you are really serious about upping your productivity and focus on your creativity. I would also love to hear from you. What are your productivity must-haves? If you have controller pads, how are you finding them right now? Can't recommend this enough. I am in love with this device. It speeds up my editing so much. It speeds up my workflow so much. If you want to learn more about another productivity must-have of mine, less direct, but I did mention it, is the Alpaca Vertex pouch. You can check that review right here, but you can also check out this review that may interest you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.